And welcome in, ladies and gentlemen. It's a beautiful night here in Canfield, Ohio, and we're here at Coca's Pizza, as we always are, on Wednesday nights. Joining us, as always, the head ball coach of the football team, Mr. Mike Pavlansky. Coach, we sat over there last week, and you said the guys we're going to play this week are going to be physical, they're going to be athletic, and they're going to be tough, and you still walk away with a dub. Talk to me about your team.
My goodness, and Cheney didn't disappoint. They are everything you just said, and but credit our guys. Showed up, played a tremendous ball game, especially on the defensive side, and did enough offensively to walk away with our second win, and something we sorely needed. Felt really good for our guys after that game.
Something you said before we went on air is I looked at that game and I thought, man, offense, 35 points, looked really good. Your offense has been challenged all year to put those points on the board. Yeah. And you said, you know what, not our best offensive night.
No, it wasn't. The way we grade.
Yeah.
Okay. Our goal is to have 55% consistency on both sides of the football. Friday night, we had 64% defensively, which is outstanding.
Yeah.
Into the 60s, you're probably going to win the football game. Offensively, we struggled a little bit. We're only at 45%. And a lot of that's due to, Cheney and their schemes, number one. And number two, we're still growing up on an offensive basis each week. And then we just got to get better. When you score 35 points, obviously you're going to be happy with that. You win, you're certainly going to be happy. But we got to become a more consistent offensive team.
How do you accomplish that? I mean, you go against one of the best. I mean, I would think one of the more athletic teams you're going to face, biggest teams you're going to face, and you put those points up. Like, how do you say, hey, guys, we need – I mean, I guess a coach always wants more, right?
Yeah, well, tape. You watch tape and point out on tape what was good and what was not so good.
Yeah.
And, right now, defensively, we got a bunch of good plays going on. Offensively, we're still searching for more good plays. And that's going to come through reps in practice, game reps, especially for our young kids playing, for first time, some sophomores and juniors playing for the first time, even some seniors, first-year starters. And, just got to grow up and get experience, underneath the Friday night lights. And hopefully we're better this week.
We got some Benjamin Button going on. It seems like you guys are getting younger as the season gets longer. Challenges about that. I mean, getting these guys, you said, getting their first reps, getting their feet wet, things of that nature. Is it tough to be patient in week 5 when you know there's so much on the line going into week 6 through 10?
Yeah, you got to be patient.
Yeah.
There's not a player that we have that doesn't want to give great effort. There's not a player that we have that wants to make mistakes, so you got to be patient with them and teach them and coach them.
Yeah.
You can only do so much yelling and, then obviously they turn it off. And, like everybody else in the area and around whoever plays football in the state, you're going to be banged up week 5 and going into week 6, we're banged up, but not an excuse not to get better, not an excuse not to show up on Friday night and play as well as you can play.
Is there such a thing as white noise for these kids when it's coaches and they're hearing the same thing and the same tone over and over again?
I think to some certain extent, yeah. So you got to guard against that.
Yeah.
And, you got to be able to go every day and have your goals and then, hopefully accomplish those goals by the time you get off the practice field. And, you're better coming off the field than when you were going on the field. That gives you the best chance on Friday night.
What I've learned in football and really in any sport is there's springboard moments during a season. And I really think that Cheney this last week was a springboard moment for this team. They saw what they could do. They accomplished it, and obviously you got to win out of it as well, which is always nice. Do you see week 5 as a springboard into the second half?
Boy, I hope you're right.
Yeah.
There's no doubt about that. It just our kids, were excited after that ball game, gave a great effort like they always have, and we beat a very good Cheney football team. There's no doubt about that. Seth Antrim again is doing a great job over there. By the end of the year, they're going to be a force in Division III, Region 9, like they were last year.
When you look at what your guys did really well, we talk about the defense. What other things did you see that was really not surprising, but really made you proud on Friday night and watching the film on Saturday?
Yeah, I think number one, from a defensive standpoint, we're a very disciplined defensive team.
Yeah.
We weren't caught out of lanes too many times. Secondly, we are a great tackling team, and we're going to have to be a great tackling team again this Friday night. There's going to be times in the game where Dover's going to have us one-on-one with their best athletes. We've got to be able to tackle it. Last week, I thought we did a great job of that with the number of athletes that Cheney has, that when we got to a one-on-one situation, we were able to bring them down.
You talked about Dover. I mean, when you look at what Dover brings to the table, you and I talked about it. It's a mirror image. 2-3, 2-3. A lot of guys, neither team thought that they were going to be 2-3 when if you said halfway through. What do you see in this Dover team that you think maybe you can exploit, maybe you can get you guys pumped up for?
I don't know. I don't know if we're going to be able to exploit it or not. But so much respect for Dan Ift and his program. He's been there for close to 30 years, I believe, if not over 30, and tradition-rich playoff experience. Well coached. Their kids believe in their system offensively and defensively. And, for us to be successful, we're going to have to take another jump, this week, especially on the offensive side of far as moving the football, keeping the football away from them like we did against West Branch because, Dover is a 5-wide up-tempo team.
You said X's and O's is a lot like West Branch. They like to run the football. Does that, really, you look at the stats, it goes in your favor, no?
Yeah, we always go into a game, no matter what offense we play, stop the run. Make them one-dimensional. Try to make them one-dimensional. And even though you're 5 wide, Dover does run the ball 55% of the time out of their 5 wide. We've got to make sure, especially number 7, J.J. Barton, I believe is certainly a 2-year starter, might be a 3-year starter for him. He's an absolute tremendous athlete. And we've got to mark him no matter where he's at, out wide or in the backfield, and shut that run game down and then try to force them to beat us in the pass game. And they're certainly capable of doing that too.
What do you think needs tweaked at this point in the year? Has there been anything that you really looked at and you're like, man, we just cannot get it, and you work and needs to kind of like turn it up a little bit?
Nah, I just, again, each week, DJ, you go in, you look at your opponents, and what best fits them that we can do to try and be successful. We've thrown schemes out, absolutely. We've thrown a coverage out, absolutely. But if we get down the road here, last 3 weeks of the season, weeks 8, 9, and 10, if we need that scheme or we need that coverage, we can go to it.
Over the last 6 weeks, there's been a lot of things that you've been able to kind of point and pinpoint. What things have really, I guess, where's the most improvement of this team in 2023?
Just getting better as far as our experience.
Okay.
Our experience has allowed us to grow up. Forget about the record. We're a much better football team sitting in week 6 than we were week 1. And, that excites us because our kids come to practice every day. They come to films every morning at 7:15, and they want to get better. The effort's there. The attention to detail is there. So that excites us.
You talked about Dover being tradition rich. Obviously, Canfield, very tradition rich. What are some of the traditions that you love the most about this program, this school?
Canfield?
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely. Playing on Bob Dove Field every Friday night when you're home there's nothing like it. We get great community support. We get great school support no matter where we go, but especially at home. And, the parents and community tailgating before the game, the victory bell after the game. We've had opposing coaches come in and tell us when they're leaving after a tough loss, they're leaving and they're seeing our student body and our band and our community at the victory bell. Just what a special thing it is for them to witness.
I think it's really, you always say the C on their chest, right?
Yeah,
when we talk about that, how long has that been there? Because usually you're talking about helmets and things of that nature.
I know when I took over, that was one thing that we put on the chest on their jersey, but it might have been there beforehand too. I'm not too sure, but it's something we latched on to. Matter of fact, it was the current superintendent at Boardman Schools, Tim Saxton, and I. And Tim was our defensive coordinator for my first year there before he went over to Boardman as a principal. And, we talked about that. And that C on the chest represents not just the football team. It represents the school, the community, and any alumni, no matter where they're at in the world. When we take the field, we really believe we take all those people with us.
And what's crazy is I think that goes all the way down through like the little Cardinals and things of that nature.
Yeah.
Speaking of the foundational aspect, you told me the numbers, 8th grade, freshman, big numbers.
Classes. And again, you're a closed enrollment school.
Yeah.
The area population has dwindled.
Yeah.
We have lost people. When I first got here, 20 some years ago, we had over 1,000 students in our school, grades 9 through 12. Now we're down into the 750s.
Wow.
But that's like everybody else too.
Yeah.
But you have some large classes and you've got some small classes. It's just a matter of, the cycle. That's
the waves, right?
Yeah, it is. And, right now we've got a decent sized senior class with about 18 and, our sophomores and juniors are a little bit less, but, our freshman class has 28, our 8th grade class has 38. So those numbers are there, which excites us that people are still excited to play Canfield football.
And this is everywhere. This isn't just Canfield. How do you keep those 8th grade freshmen excited, especially with limited playing time? Because a lot of teams don't have freshmen and even JV anymore. How do you keep them excited?
Well, again, hopefully they're having a good time practice.
Right.
And that's the one thing we talked to about our junior high guys and our freshman guys. You want to win, absolutely. You put a lot of time in, you want to win. But the number one goal there is to make sure everybody plays, make sure that they are learning the fundamentals of the game. And, I believe our junior high coaches and our freshman coaches do a great job of implementing our program at all levels, that when you're a 7th grade football player, by the end of the year, you're going to know ABC, and then 8th grade, D, E, and F, and then so forth and so forth. And, by the time they get to us, they've got the basics down to where we just need maybe a week to review, and then we're able to move on, with what we believe in.
Awesome. All right. You ready for it? You've been dodging these questions. You've been so good, like professional. You didn't have a favorite song. You didn't have, so this one I had to come. Everybody is directed towards this question, and this question is directed towards you. All right. You've got a reservation for 6 at dinner. Yeah. You can have you and 5 other people, anybody.
Oh my gosh.
Who is it and why? It can be celebrity. It could be anybody living, past, whoever.
Nah. You go family.
Oh,
my dad.
Yep.
I'd love to sit down with my dad and have another conversation with him. My mom and my 3 daughters.
That is awesome.
Yeah.
How did you skirt out of that one? I had it pegged.
It's truth.
I love it. All right. If you had a table full of celebrities, I'm gonna swerve you now. Who would it be and why?
Table full of celebrities.
Well, coaches, celebrities, whatever.
Oh my God.
Is Saban at the table?
No.
Okay.
I like Nick Saban. I respect what he does. No. I guess being a history guy, I'd love to talk to Abraham Lincoln.
Really?
And FDR. Okay.
I see where this is going. I like it.
I'm just a history guy. And
what would you ask Abe?
What do I say? Abe is they wrote a book about him, where his cabinet were all of his opposition. When he became president, he grabbed people that ran against him, that didn't believe in what he was doing, and he put his cabinet together. And by the end of it, they all believed in him.
Wow.
Yeah.
So overcoming the adversity through bringing people that don't believe in you. Mm-hmm. Incredible. And what would you ask him?
What would I ask him? My goodness, how'd you teach yourself to read? He had a tough upbringing, and
he taught himself to read.
Taught himself to read. Went to law school. Didn't have a formal education, and worked on the dad's farm or whatever they did, and had a tough upbringing, and just want to maybe pick his brain about how did you navigate your young childhood with all the circumstances that were against you.
Incredible. All right, you win. You got me this time. Nice play, Coach. Congratulations on the win. Good luck against Dover. We appreciate you as always.
DJ. Thank you so much.
We'll be right back after this, after a word from